Ally Kostial was 21 years old in 2019 and was a student at Mississippi State University located in Oxford, Mississippi. Oxford is a relatively small town with limited activities. I visited recently and observed that it primarily features a few restaurants and outdoor retail establishments, such as Tractor Supply. With a population of approximately 25,000, it is a charming and tranquil community, making it an ideal residence for college students, as the opportunities for mischief are minimal in such a laid-back environment. The University of Mississippi serves as the primary attraction for the town, and it is reasonable to conclude that the institution contributes significantly to the local economy. The university boasts an acceptance rate of around 90%, and many students are drawn to it due to its comparatively low tuition fees relative to other similar institutions. With a graduation rate of about 65%, it aligns well with universities that may charge 10 times more while providing essentially the same quality of education. This likely explains Ally Kostial's strong desire to enroll at the University of Mississippi, a reputable institution offering an excellent education at an affordable price, along with a generally positive social environment. Ally was pursuing her college education with the intention of earning a degree in marketing, with her graduation slated for spring 2020. This timeline was notably ahead of many of her peers, as she had been attending summer sessions in addition to her regular coursework. Ally aspired to secure a position within the fashion industry, although she kept her specific career aspirations in fashion marketing private. However, Ally was not merely an ordinary student at the University of Mississippi, she possessed an extraordinary passion that few could rival. She played a pivotal role in establishing the Alpha Phi sorority and held the position of president of the university's golf club. Additionally, she dedicated her spare time to teaching fitness classes in the local community. It is remarkable how she managed to balance all these commitments, especially with summer school added to her schedule. Clearly, Ally led a very active life, yet she consistently prioritized her relationships with friends and family. Her mother reminisced about Ally's aspirations of attending the university, noting that her ambitions extended beyond a successful career. She also envisioned meeting her future husband there. Ally was optimistic about finding a compatible partner and settling down with a trustworthy man by the time she completed her studies. In the fall of 2016, she believed she had encountered this individual when she met Brandon Thiesfeld, a fellow student for whom she developed strong feelings. Unfortunately, those feelings were not reciprocated. Ally's friends assert that they made every effort to caution her about Brandon, yet she seemed oblivious to the warnings due to his captivating presence. For reasons unknown, Ally felt an irresistible attraction to him, which occupied her thoughts incessantly. Regrettably, these sentiments were not reciprocated, but Ally found it impossible to detach herself from him. Over the ensuing years, Ally would come to understand much about herself, particularly the lengths to which she would go to maintain Brandon's presence in her life. An unexpected encounter. Interestingly, Ally did not first encounter Brandon Thiesfeld on campus, rather, their initial meeting took place in Fort Worth, Texas, in 2016. It was soon revealed to her that he was a student at the University of Mississippi. For Ally, this revelation likely felt like a serendipitous alignment of fate, suggesting that their relationship was destined to flourish. Tragically, this perception was far from reality. At that time, Ally was unaware of the truth, while those around her were acutely aware of Brandon's true nature. He was part of the popular crowd, well liked among his male peers from the outset. However, when women got to know him better, they often distanced themselves except for Ally, who remained captivated. She was drawn to him despite the warnings. According to numerous friends and acquaintances, Brandon was, to put it mildly, a deeply flawed individual. While I do not typically resort to such harsh characterizations, it is important to emphasize that Brandon epitomized a profoundly negative persona. All of Ally's friends remember him as being exceedingly arrogant and unpleasant. Brandon frequently discussed his father's wealth and how it afforded him the freedom to act without consequences, as his father would always come to his rescue. Whether his actions were illegal or merely unethical, Brandon pursued his desires relentlessly, indifferent to the harm he caused others. One of Ally's acquaintances, who preferred to remain unnamed, characterized Brandon as a pig, noting that he exploited his family's financial resources to indulge in his whims, often surrounded by multiple women whom he treated with disdain. This individual concluded her observations by labeling him as super misogynistic. Other friends echoed similar sentiments, describing him as a daddy's boy with little respect for women, whom he regarded as mere objects for his amusement. One friend recounted how he would incessantly harass every female in the dormitory, engaging with them only to fulfill his own needs before moving on to the next. Regrettably, this pattern also appeared to apply to Ally. She was profoundly enamored with Brandon and initially believed they were in an exclusive relationship. However, Ally's family indicated that she was mistaken. Ally's mother remembered a day when Ally returned from college excitedly sharing that she had met a boy, specifically one from Texas. Ally's mother notes that, for reasons unknown, Ally had always harbored a fascination for Texas and its inhabitants. Therefore, when she encountered a young man from one of her beloved regions, her joy was immeasurable. Initially, Ally referred to Brandon merely as a crush, but it soon became evident that their connection was much deeper. Maddie Norris, one of Ally's closest companions, remarked that she had never met Brandon. According to Maddie, Brandon consistently prioritized other activities over meeting Ally's friends and family. She later characterized the relationship between Ally and Brandon as on and off again, yet for Ally, he remained the singular focus of her thoughts. Ally's friends observed that she frequently experienced heartache due to Brandon. She would make numerous plans with him, only for him to fail to appear. She would invite friends over to meet him, but he would vanish just hours before the gathering. Dates and phone calls were scheduled, yet he was often absent. This pattern culminated in a significant turning point during the summer of 2019. By this time, Ally and Brandon had been involved in some capacity for approximately 3 years. However, Ally delivered a shocking revelation to Brandon. She sent him a text message indicating that she might be pregnant, accompanied by a photo of a pregnancy test result that was deemed inconclusive. At this juncture, Ally was a college senior, poised to graduate in just a few months that following spring. On June 14th, at approximately 10:15 p.m., she disclosed her potential pregnancy to Brandon. Although Brandon typically made an effort to avoid Ally whenever she reached out, this occasion was distinct. He replied almost instantly, suggesting that she should take the Plan B pill and move forward with her life. He further stated that he had no intention of raising a child, asserting, "I do not want a kid at all." Just 2 minutes later, he sent another message emphasizing, "I am serious, no kid at all. It will ruin my life. I will not help at all." Following these messages, Ally arranged a meeting with Brandon to discuss the alleged pregnancy. However, he failed to appear. She attempted to schedule several follow-up meetings, yet he did not attend any of them. He consistently fabricated excuses, claiming to be busy, having other commitments, or simply forgetting. It was not until July of that year that Brandon finally agreed to meet with Ally, but his intentions were far from straightforward. On the evening of July 19th, 2019, Ally and Brandon had once again arranged to meet. By this time, Ally was believed to be approximately 3 months pregnant. Interestingly, police later discovered surveillance footage from that night indicating that she had been at a bar. After departing from the bar, she took an Uber home alone, indicating that she had likely consumed alcohol. This event occurred at 11:52 p.m. Remarkably, just a few hours later, at 1:28 a.m., Brandon arrived for their scheduled meeting. He picked up Ally, and the two proceeded to a fishing camp at Sardis Lake. Photographs taken at the crime scene revealed that during their journey to the fishing camp, they had been consuming White Claws and snacking on junk food. It is important to note that they were under the impression that Ally was pregnant, and for those unfamiliar, White Claws contain alcohol, while junk food is not advisable for someone expecting a child. The pair reached the fishing camp around 2:15 a.m., and according to local residents, a series of gunshots were heard around the same time. A woman walking her dog reported hearing the shots between 2:15 and 2:30 a.m., which coincided with the arrival of Brandon and Ally. By 10:30 a.m. that morning, a police officer conducting routine patrols in the area discovered a crime scene at the camp. According to the crime scene photographs and the officer's testimony, upon his arrival, he found Ally lying face down on the ground. He discovered her purse, 2 cans of White Claw, and the previously mentioned bag of snacks in close proximity. Additionally, a jacket was draped over a nearby picnic table. Upon approaching Ally, it became evident that she had succumbed to her injuries after being struck by multiple gunshots at relatively close range. The officer noted that, upon further examination, Ally had sustained a total of 9 gunshot wounds, while 11 shell casings were located in the vicinity, indicating that 2 rounds were unaccounted for. The investigator remarked that, throughout his extensive career, he had never encountered a case where an individual had been shot so many times. Once the police confirmed Ally's identity, they promptly initiated their investigation, interviewing her closest friends and family members. They were particularly focused on gathering insights from Ally's friends. After conducting interviews with several friends and acquaintances, detectives quickly identified a name that frequently surfaced in their discussions: Brandon Thiesfeld. Although Brandon proved to be elusive, the police eventually managed to contact him and requested his presence for questioning. They did not disclose that he was considered a suspect, rather, they indicated that they sought his account of the events from the night of the incident. However, Brandon responded to the police with the same disregard he exhibited towards the women in his life. He informed the officers on at least 3 occasions that he would meet them at a designated time and place, yet he failed to appear each time. Following his 3rd instance of deceit, the police escalated their approach, consulting with a judge to secure a warrant for his arrest and to obtain access to his cell phone records. The judge approved the request, prompting law enforcement to begin tracking Brandon's whereabouts through his cell phone. They soon discovered that he had already left the state of Mississippi. He had packed his belongings and was en route to Tennessee without informing anyone. This situation was unacceptable, leading the police to issue a bolo for his vehicle, an $80,000 Ford F-150 that he had acquired, once again, with his father's financial support. Approximately 2 hours after the bolo was issued, Brandon was apprehended in Memphis. The situation deteriorated for him significantly when the police conducted a search of his truck. They uncovered a .40 caliber firearm that he had concealed, which was linked to the crime scene. Brandon was swiftly extradited back to Mississippi, but astonishingly, the circumstances would only worsen from that point onward. During the investigation, as the police endeavored to connect Brandon to the crime scene, they sought access to Ally's phone records. Although they had located the weapon used in the crime, they lacked a clear motive, which would complicate the prosecution's case and make it more challenging for a jury to convict Brandon. It did not take long for investigators to uncover a substantial amount of evidence that could not be overlooked. Upon examining Ally's Apple Watch and iPhone, they utilized her location data, fitness information, and text messages to construct a remarkably detailed timeline of the events surrounding the crime, including Brandon's involvement. Through Apple iMessage, they confirmed that Brandon was the last individual to have seen Ally on the night of her disappearance. Furthermore, they were able to correlate their location data, pinpointing them at the same place and time. However, the most incriminating evidence emerged from Ally's text messages, which revealed that for 3 months, she had been leading Brandon to believe that she was pregnant and that he was the father. Brandon, understandably frightened, chose not to confront the situation by meeting with Ally to discuss her expectations and his potential role. It was evident that Brandon did not desire to become a parent, yet Ally persistently urged him to consider the possibilities. Ultimately, Brandon made a hasty decision that would have a lasting impact on his community. Law enforcement was able to establish that Brandon, fearing the potential consequences of ruining his life, made the decision to take Ally's life, along with that of her unborn child. However, the truth is more complex. While it is confirmed that he did indeed end Ally's life, a startling discovery emerged following the autopsy of her remains. She was not pregnant, nor was there any evidence to suggest that she had been pregnant in the recent past. This raises questions about the peculiar pregnancy test that Ally presented to Brandon. The reasons for an inconclusive pregnancy test are numerous, yet it appears that Ally may have been prolonging the situation in hopes of a meeting with Brandon. However, it remains uncertain whether she was aware of her non-pregnant state. There is no definitive way to ascertain if she was intentionally misleading him. What is particularly perplexing is that during the 3 months she believed she might be pregnant, she did not take a follow-up test to clarify her condition. The most compelling evidence, in my opinion, indicating that she was aware of her non-pregnant status, is her presence at the bar that evening and the White Claw beverages discovered at the crime scene. Ally was an intelligent young woman. It is highly likely that she understood the implications of drinking if she were pregnant. This suggests that her profound affection for Brandon may have driven her to take risks in order to secure moments alone with him to resolve their issues. However, Brandon appeared too cowardly to confront the potential repercussions of his actions and engage in a meaningful conversation with her. What troubles me the most is that, had Brandon possessed even a modicum of insight, he could have connected the dots as well. Instead, he chose to terminate not only their relationship but also a potential future. Ally had dedicated herself to earning her degree in pursuit of her dream career. She had earnestly sought to build a life with someone only to find herself with a partner who was incapable of reciprocating her love. Ally had a promising future ahead, yet this thoughtless individual took everything from her. Following Brandon's arrest, authorities discovered a handwritten letter in which he acknowledged his culpability. The letter, addressed to his parents, expressed his remorse for his actions and the pain he inflicted upon them. In the letter, he revealed that he had been grappling with dark thoughts for several years prior to the crime. He admitted to being unable to pinpoint the origin of these thoughts, but acknowledged that he ultimately acted upon them and deeply regretted his choices. Ultimately, Brandon received a life sentence in prison, with the possibility of parole only after he reaches the age of 65. It appears that, at long last, Brandon had committed a crime from which his father could not extricate him.